City College, and thank you for being here to help celebrate the 2-year anniversary of the Long Beach College Promise. If you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, our ASB President, Isaac Romero, will lead us in the pledge.
Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
I'd like to recognize a few of the dignitaries who are with us this morning. From the Long Beach Community College District Board of Trustees, President Mark Bowen. Vice President Tom Clark. And Board Member Roberto Uranga. From the Long Beach Unified School District Board of Trustees, Mary Stanton. And Dr. Felton Williams. From the City of Long Beach, Councilmember Robert Garcia. Former Mayor, former President, and Beverly O'Neill. And I'd also like to recognize the President of the Long Beach City College Foundation, Suzanne Nosworthy. Without further ado, I'd like to bring up Superintendent Chris Steinhauser to give the first of the reports.
Thank you, Mike. Well, it's a great day, and I want to thank everyone who put this together. Students, you need to know that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people behind you who want to make sure that you live that American dream. And it's parents who are here today. We thank you for sending your students to us ready prepared to learn, because we are so proud of the work that they're doing. And today we're going to be honoring these young men and women because they're going to get scholarships, and as parents, I know you're going to like that. It's going to go money in the bank for college. As a parent of 2 kids in college, I tell you, you will appreciate that immensely. I want to say a special thanks to our Board of Education for setting high expectations for all of our students, and to adopting an initiative a couple years ago that said, Long Beach Unified will prepare every single student ready for college and a career, whatever their choice is. And that is one of the few initiatives in the nation that's doing that. And we're doing it with our partners here, Long Beach City College and Cal State Long Beach. And I want to tell a personal story. This feels great. Many, many years ago, over 30 years ago, I happened to go to college here. And this was a great college then, and it's a better college today. And then after 2 years, I transferred straight over to Cal State Long Beach to get my teaching credential. And my wife actually went to Cal State Long Beach. And Dr. Alexander, I want to tell you, you're even doing a better job today because my son is a student over at Cal State Long Beach, and he gives me a daily report. So I want to thank everybody, because I'm going to Washington right after this meeting today, and the topic is, how do you do it in Long Beach? How do all of you work together to do this? And we are so blessed. So I want to please give these gentlemen a round of applause, and everyone in the community. Today's event, where's Lorenzo? Lorenzo, raise your hand, Lorenzo. He's a former grad of Long Beach Unified Poly Pace. He helped organize this, so let's thank him for doing that. And our workers who put this together. And a special thank you to Boeing. Boeing has given Long Beach Unified over $1 million in the last 10 years. And their money is to support this promise. Also, another person, an organization that supported us last year and this year with a $1,500 donation to our scholarships that we're going to give out is the California College Promise campaign. Is Michelle Securus here? Michelle? Yes, Michelle. Last year, Michelle challenged us with President Oakley to say, how many of your youngsters can you get to sign a pledge to go to college? And we were talking about one school at the time. We said, we want to do all schools. And she supported us 100%. And I would like to tell you today that we had 78% of our middle schools sign the pledge this year, over 15,000. So thank you for pushing us. Long Beach Unified is so proud that over 70% of our graduates are going to college. They're either enrolling in a 2-year college like Long Beach City, a 4-year institution like Cal State Long Beach, or a trade school. The national average is around 65%. So once again, our community is beating the national average. You should be very proud. And the other thing is that we get push and pull from these men behind me. They say, Chris, you got to do X. And one of the things that Dr. Alexander asked us is that could you require all of your 11th grade students to take a special test in the 11th grade? It's called the EAP. And if they take that test and they pass that test, they don't have to take any type of remedial work at the university. And because of that push, Long Beach Unified leads all districts in California for requiring that and for having a large number of our students pass it. So thank you, Dr. Alexander. I was telling our students today, I said, you don't need to be nervous. This is a great day. There's no homework, there's no test, and you're going to get money. So this is really exciting. So I know my kids would have been really happy. We're going to call the schools in alpha order when they come up here, and I'm going to ask Dr. Matthews to give out their scholarships, certificates. And just to let everybody know what's going to happen is that we're going to give out scholarships in the range of $50 to $250. We have and we did this by competition. We like healthy competition. So the schools that brought in the most signatures to go to college are going to get the highest. And so we put those students in the bucket. And then the second highest get a $100 scholarship. And then everyone else is going to get a $50 scholarship. And to the parents and to the students who are going to get these scholarships, they're going to be held in what's called the Long Beach Education Foundation. So when you graduate from high school, you will get this money as part of your scholarship. And just to give you a note, last year, our youngsters and the seniors received $40 million in scholarships. And so we are very proud of that, and we expect that. People in the audience, these youngsters were chosen today because they have improved the most academically. So will you please join me in congratulating them? So the first recipient is Avalon, and they came over by boat, and we're so proud that they're here, is Marissa Morenas. She's receiving $250. Marissa, would you stay up here, please? We want to take a group picture. Thank you so much. Next from Bancroft is Jonathan Tate, $100 scholarship. Next, we have Bertram, and it's Juan Presidio, and a $50 scholarship. Next, we have Butler, and the recipient is Anthony, Chantamani, $50. Next, we have Colin Powell, Aaron Hill, $250. Next, we have Cubberly Griffin Orr, $100. Next, we have Demille Pablo Lopez, $100. Next, we have Franklin Richard Deaton, $50. Next, we have Gompers Hayden Patrick, $250. Next, we have Hamilton Monica Chavez, $50. Next, we have Hoover Mauricio Rodriguez, $50. Next, we have Hudson Joshua McGiffert, $50. Next, we have Hughes Legend Sanders, $50. Next, we have a student from Jefferson, where I went to school many years ago, called the Jefferson Blue Devils. I know you're the Jaguars today. Jefferson is Joanna Gomez, $100. Next, we have Lindbergh Jimmy Galindo, $50. Next, we have Lindsay Angelica Flores, $50. Next, we have Marshall Abraham Gonzalez, $250. Next, Monroe K8, Hasisha Lacan, $50. Is our rear student here? I didn't. They're on a field trip today, but the recipient is Paulo Salas. Next, we have Newcomb Isaac Flores, $100. Next, we have Robinson Juan Ortiz, $100. Next, we have Rogers Alejandro Torres, $50. Next, we have Stanford Edwin Vasquez, $50. Next, Stevens Francisco Perez, $250. And next, we have Tincher Zach Sanchez, $50. And next, we have Washington Middle School Abzabuado Ruiz, $250. We'll make sure that those who aren't here today receive these certificates. Yeah. I just want to thank the community for everything that you're doing in making this. Oh, I have one more? I'm sorry. Who did we leave off? Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Cameron White, $50. We have Anthony here, Chantamani. Come on up here, Anthony. Again, thank you everybody for supporting our youngsters.
Thank you, Superintendent Steinhauser. I realize there was one important guest, at least one important guest who I forgot to mention, the president of the Long Beach Education Foundation, Mr. Mike Murray. The second of our reports will be given by Long Beach City College President Elu Ortiz-Orkley.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Long Beach City College. This is a wonderful Friday morning. It's great to be here. It's great to have you all here, especially these days when we're always looking for some good news. This is the best news that we could ask for, is to be able to sit here today and think about the wonderful, wonderful opportunities that you all are making for our students. And ultimately, that's what we're all about here, is continuing to find ways to create opportunities for our students, even at a time when those opportunities are constantly under threat. So, I'm delighted to welcome you all here today. Of course, as you've heard, this is our first progress report on the Long Beach College Promise, the first of hopefully many, many years of reports. And we thought it was particularly appropriate, since we are making this effort, since we have so much great participation, that we find the time to report back to you how this work is changing the lives of students here in the Long Beach community. The Long Beach College Promise was signed 2 years ago, this March, by Superintendent Steinhauser, by President F. King Alexander, and myself. It's a great achievement, and one that is already having a positive impact on Long Beach students. It's also having a positive impact throughout California. There are a number of communities that have looked to Long Beach to see what we're doing here, to see how they can replicate the commitment that's being made here to the children of Long Beach. So you should all feel very proud of what you're doing here. It is making a difference, not just locally, but throughout the state of California. All three institutions pledge to increase the number of students who successfully complete higher education by working together. What a novel concept. Coordination like this does not happen everywhere, unfortunately. You are witnessing something very special today. 3 public institutions working hand in hand to serve this community. And it's something that we need to do more of, not less, particularly in California, when so many of our students, the majority of our students, are in public education, and we need to ensure that they have the opportunities necessary to survive and to thrive in our economy. All of these efforts are showing results. Here's a small sample of what we found. LBCC students from Long Beach Unified have stronger math skills than our other incoming students. LBCC students from Long Beach Unified are much more likely to persist or to remain enrolled at college than their counterparts from other school districts. LBCC students who transfer to Cal State Long Beach are more likely to persist or remain enrolled at the university than their counterparts from other schools. But this is only the beginning. We want even better results. That's why LBCC has become a statewide leader in adopting the early assessment program, which you heard mentioned earlier by Superintendent Steinhauser. Long Beach Unified has done their part by motivating their students to take the test. We're doing our part by being one of the first community colleges to work with the early assessment program and with the Cal State University to honor those results and to work as hard as we can so that those students who take that test can use those results here, and we can help them better prepare to succeed in college. I want to give a special thanks, to Dr. Janie Mackay and the members of the English and Math faculty for their help in making that possible. As odd as it may seem, it's not something that happens overnight. Again, because the state of California, public institutions are not used to working with one another, so we're trying to set the example for the rest of the state, and fortunately, the rest of the state is listening. We also want to see more students begin higher education immediately after graduating from high school. Many studies show that students who go directly into higher education right out of high school, right after they graduate, are more likely to succeed and complete. Right now, about 40% of LBUSD students will graduate enroll at LBCC within a year of graduation, but almost 10% of those do not enroll until the spring semester after their graduation. We want more of those students to enroll directly out of high school immediately in that fall semester after they graduate. That's why we've made the Long Beach College Promise Scholarship a priority. The Long Beach College Promise guarantees to every Long Beach area high school graduate a free first semester at Long Beach City College if they enroll in the fall right after their graduation. It's important to help students get in the door, and we do not want the cost of tuition to be a barrier. Once they are here, we can help them find ways to continue to fund their education. Through the Long Beach City College Foundation and the generous support of the community that we serve, we have raised more than $6 million to provide these scholarships. I would like to ask former mayor, and most importantly, former superintendent president of Long Beach City College, Beverly O'Neill, to come to the stage and to help make a presentation to the foundation in support of this effort. Beverly?
I didn't know when I was going to be on the program, but I do have a nice announcement to you. But let me just say something aside from that. I have worked with other cities throughout the United States when I was mayor, and I don't know of any other city in the United States where the three levels of education work together. We are truly blessed in our city to have the Unified, the Community College, and the four-year university working together. Usually everyone has their own little fiefdoms, and they decide that this is where they're going to talk, and they can't talk to the others because they're at a different level, higher or lower. And so this is really a blessing for me today. I just love seeing this. Thank you very much. I do have just a few words that sound like they're off the subject, but they're not really. I'm thinking of this as Ella Lewis Day. Now, you don't know Ella Lewis. Some of you do, because if you went to City College a long time ago, you'll remember her. Ella Lewis started working here when the first year I was a student here at Long Beach City College. And Ella Lewis was the student government advisor and also taught speech. She was here for over 40 years. Then I came back to work here, while I was a student, I noticed this lady who just always looked so elegant, and she was raised in the East Coast, and so when she was in student government, she kind of had everybody thinking about maybe the world or something different. She was kind of enlarging our horizons. I remember that once we had the prom in Los Angeles, and none of us had been to Los Angeles, and we didn't have a big hotel here where we could have a prom. And before that, we had lunch. I see he's sitting down because he knows me. And we had dinner. The student government people had dinner, and she wanted to enlarge our horizons, and so she had lobster. Number one, I never ate out in my family. And number two, I'd never seen a lobster. And number three, who'd eat one? And I think there were more things sent back at that meal because nobody could figure out how to eat it, and they were embarrassed by it all. But anyway, that's the kind of person she was. Anyway, she has been here for over 40 years. I've worked with her when I came back as a faculty member here. I loved her very much. We were best friends. I've got one little story to tell on this. There was a house I wanted that was in Long Beach, but I couldn't afford it. And so I asked her and her husband, Harry, said, would you like to see this house with me? And this was, I hate to tell you, in the late 60s. And so we went to see this house, and of course I loved it, but I knew even when I walked in I couldn't afford it. She and her husband bought it. The reason I'm here today is because she passed away. She passed away in 2001. I'm living in her house now. I bought it after 30 years. The state could not settle until her elder sister passed away. Her elder sister passed away last year, and we could settle Ella's estate because the estate was taking care of the sister. And so today, this wonderful friend of mine and this wonderful friend of education is presenting, is Norm Rasmussen here? He was a lawyer that helped me do this because this is certainly complicated stuff. I never understood it and still don't. But anyway, we're presenting a check for Long Beach College Promise of $200,000 for scholarships from Ella Hills.
The Great Friday. Thank you, Beverly. I understand from Jenny Baxter that now puts the amount of money that we've actually collected in hand from the Long Beach College Promise from the Gateway to Greatness campaign at over $2 million thus far. So thank you, Beverly. And with that pledge, we are now over $6.5 million in pledges that has been raised. So this is a wonderful, wonderful testament to the support that this community provides to our young people all throughout the Long Beach area. And so at this point in time, I want to ask all the members of the Long Beach City College Foundation who have worked so hard to ensure that we have the money available for those students to please stand up and be recognized. Now, we have another great partner that's making this Long Beach College Promise a reality as well. And there's a special thanks and support to the Long Beach Rotary Club. The Long Beach Rotary Club has allowed us to begin this scholarship opportunity earlier. Every student who applies for the scholarship will receive it beginning in 2010 thanks to the support of the Long Beach Rotary. We had previously anticipated not being able to begin until 2011, so we are a full year earlier because of their great support. So if there are any members of the Long Beach Rotary Club here today, and I know that there are, I want you to please, please stand up and be recognized. Now I would also like them to please come up to the stage as we have an opportunity to invite the Promise Scholarship recipients to come forward as well. So please come on up to the stage so we can recognize our students. And with us today are members of the Long Beach Rotary, are Dr. Tom Clark, Cam Killingsworth, and Steve Shaw. So thank you. So today, we have part of the nearly 300 students who are receiving the scholarship. Some of the names that we have here today are Isha Bridget, Jose Gonzalez, Jennifer Rios. They all received their scholarships in 2009. Tony Son, Aaron Chan, Avana Woodard received their scholarship in 2008, and Brian Mackay, who also received scholarship in 2009. So please, again, let's thank the Long Beach Rotary, and let's thank these wonderful students who have dedicated themselves to being part of our Long Beach College Promise. Okay, now, we are also changing the way we teach to help our students succeed. Once these students get to Long Beach City College, excuse me, once they get here, LBCC is working to help every student succeed by changing the way we teach to help them meet their goals. 3 years ago, we launched the Student Success Plan, comprised of 13 initiatives designed to increase student success. We opened up success centers that are one key element of the plan. They provide innovative supplemental learning through directed learning activities designed to help overcome key hurdles to success in the critical gateway courses that all of our students face. The initial results are impressive. Students who completed the assigned directed learning activities were nearly three times more successful than students who did not. That's promising results. The addition of the Faculty Professional Development Center will also help accelerate the improvement further by providing professional learning activities for our wonderful faculty and staff so that they can continue to find more and better ways to help support their students' learning. I want to thank Dr. Bobby Villalobos, Ms. Lynn Shaw, Dr. Lynn Shaw, and Shauna Hageman, and all of the faculty and staff involved in this effort for all of the work that they put into ensuring that our students are successful. So I know some of them are here today, so if I can ask them please stand and be recognized. All this is taking place in the shadow, a very large shadow, of one of the greatest budgetary challenges community colleges, and for that matter, all of public education has faced. There's no denying it. Many of you picked up the Press Telegram this morning and saw one of the headlines that Long Beach City College is considering scaling back significantly or eliminating completely the summer schedule. That's not a decision that we take lightly. That's not a decision that I came into this job to make. It's not a decision that I relish. But because of the challenges that we face, many cuts that will impact our students are being made, not just at Long Beach City College, but throughout the state of California. But despite all this bad news, we remain committed to our goal of helping every student succeed, no matter where they come from. So finally, let me say a brief thank you, first of all, to the elected members of the Board of Trustees from the Long Beach Community College District who are here day after day ensuring that our students have the very best opportunities available to them. These individuals put our students at the heart of everything that they do for the college, and they deserve our thanks. So please, from myself, let me thank Board President Mark Bowen, Board Vice President Tom Clark, Member Jeff Kellogg, Member Doug Otto, and Member Roberto Uranga for all of their support in ensuring that we continue to put student success at the center of everything we do. And then finally, thank you all for your support, and thank you for being here today to support the Long Beach College Promise. Without you, there is no promise. So thank you for continuing to support us. Now, Mark, are you going to introduce? Okay, thank you. Now let me introduce our next speaker. He's someone that has come to the Long Beach community and just done marvelous things with the very best university in the state of California, and for that matter, the very best public university and probably private university as well in the nation. They have become one of the most sought-after universities in the country, and there's a reason. That reason is because of the work he, his staff, and his faculty have done and the support of his community. So please help me welcome Dr. F. King Alexander, President of Cal State University, Long Beach.
Thank you, President Oakley, and thank you all for coming out and joining us in this, really it's a national celebration of what a school system, what public education can truly do when we work together. I'm here to give you some results that I think are very impressive, some results that should impact Long Beach that more importantly have profound impacts on the economic development and future of Long Beach. Since we began this program 2 years ago, we have seen our numbers right here at Long Beach City College. We've seen our numbers of transfer students grow by nearly 20% to our campus in just 2 years. In fact, Long Beach City College has gone from being our 4th best supplier of transfer talented students to being number 1. In our K-12 system, we've seen a significant increase of our students coming to us from the Unified School District. And we've seen 15% increases in our freshman class coming to our university from our local district right here. And I think it's important to remind that Superintendent Steinhauser has his son on our campus, kind of keeping an eye on me every day. I've got 3 in this public school system keeping an eye on him every day. And in fact, Principal Huff is here from Rogers, and I'm going to mention him because if any of my children end up in his office, I just want him to know that I recognized him today. Principal Huff, thank you for your work. The school district, the numbers are showing. And in fact, we received 70,000 applications for fall admission last year. 70,000 applications for about 5,500 spots for students in the coming fall. There are only 2 universities in the United States that received more applications for admission than we did. But I'm here to say that our acceptance rate at Cal State Long Beach for the university, for this entire pool, is about 30 to 33% acceptance rate. It's gone down, unfortunately, because of budget cuts. It's gone down. It's making it much tougher for many students in many areas. However, from our school district, because of this college promise and the other things that we do jointly, our acceptance rate of our local students is 80%. 80% of our local students. This issue by itself has become quite controversial around California, and there's some battles going on in urban areas in other districts that have not made this commitment. And let me just reiterate the significance of why this is so important to us. It's not about the question of whether they can succeed or not. We believe in the talent of our students coming out of high school. In fact, our persistence rates of our local students that we're accepting at about 80% are about 5% higher than our other students throughout the state of California. So they're coming in, they're succeeding at higher rates, which says a lot for our school district, says a lot for our community college and city college right here in Long Beach, and how they're being educated. But more importantly, this is an economic issue for Long Beach. This is an economic issue for our business community. This is an economic issue for the future economic viability of Long Beach. By the time each and every one of these boys and girls comes out of high school, we've spent nearly $110,000 to educate them. We've invested as a community. We've invested as a state. Then to not reward or to keep them here is really a tragedy for the future development of Long Beach. We want these economic assets and social assets to stay in this community. And we're going to couple their talent by robbing and stealing the best throughout California to put them in the same classrooms right here in Long Beach. This is a worldwide battle for human capital and human talents, and we must take advantage of the investments that we make in our students. We must keep them here to build Long Beach, to build this area, to build it together. And this community understands this better than most throughout California. But now I must sprinkle a little reality into this, a little reality onto this celebration. While we're celebrating what many cities throughout the United States have come to us to try to model, and that's one of our biggest challenges. We can't come together enough to answer all the questions that Omaha has for us, to answer all the questions that Fresno has asked for us, to answer all the questions that Atlanta comes to us trying to figure out how this works so well. While this continues to succeed in ways that Long Beach has never seen public educationally, the Long Beach Unified School District is talking about eliminating 800 teachers in the classroom. They already spend 30% less per student than the national average. Long Beach City College is talking about eliminating teachers, lecturers, as well as shutting down summer school. They already spend about 25% less on the average community college in the United States. And I know my university spends about 25 to 30% less than its average throughout the United States. We need you to help Long Beach understand that we must not take this partnership, we must not take this for granted. We recently shot down Measure T, which was a simple parcel tax. We must not take this for granted, and I sense that Long Beach is starting to take these wonderful, wonderful benefits to this community and wonderful educational system. They're taking advantage. What I'm asking you to do is when you leave this room today, hold your legislators accountable. Hold the ones running for office that say, every one of them, Republican or Democrat or Independent, they all say they support education. Measure them by how they vote. Measure them by how they vote. Unified School District has been ranked among the top 100 urban school districts, ranked in the top 5 for the last 5 years in a row, winning the first place and coming in second over and over and over again. Our school district has the same number of kids as Detroit, Michigan has, 88,000 students on their way, all of them seeking a college education. We need your help to hold our legislators accountable. The state of California cut education to the very limit, the very threshold of where the federal government allowed them to where they have to start giving back federal dollars. What that means is that they would have cut us much, much, much worse if there was not federal language stopping them. We need your help to tell people, to show people that public education works. And it's a shame that California doesn't get it, because we have every other city in the country calling us for advice, for help, and trying to figure out why Long Beach works so well together. So for us to continue making these significant improvements, to continue supporting each and every one of these talented students, we need your help. We're glad you're here to celebrate with us, but we need your help to get the word around that let's not take this for granted. Let's not take where public education works for granted. We're in this together. The Long Beach economic future is actually at stake when we don't invest in each one of these students. And if this community had not come together, we would not see the success that it does. And if we did not have the teachers that we have, and the principals, and the counselors that we have in our school system, we would not have seen the success rates that we have had. So help us keep on pushing this type of agenda for public education. We will build Long Beach, but it starts right here. It starts in kindergarten and preschool. And I'm looking at Robert Garcia, who's one of our doctoral students, our city council member, who's gone through the entire system. He's now going to get his EDD, and you got to stick to your dissertation there, Robert. We're going to keep an eye on you. But it's very, very important that you stay with us and you support us, and you look at these results and you tell yourself, are these the kind of results that Long Beach needs? Because without your help, Long Beach can quietly take this for granted to the extent that then these types of results do not continue to grow and expand and build Long Beach together. So thank you all for your support of this program. There isn't another school system and community college and university in the United States working better with more programs. And I'd like to thank the superintendent and President Oakley. The EAP exam that they mentioned is a junior level exam that the CSU gives to only 70% of the California juniors. But this is the only school district in California that mandates it for all juniors. 97% of our juniors are taking this exam to determine whether they're college ready in math and English at the end of their junior year, so they don't slack off during their senior year if they're not ready. And this has become a model system in so many ways. Don't let it fall down. And your support is absolutely critical at this very, very critical time for public education in the state of California. So thank you all for coming out, and we're going to keep doing what we do well, but we need you to keep helping us each and every step when it comes to influence, holding our legislators accountable. Help us keep pushing this wonderful public educational agenda. And thank you very much for coming.
Well, on behalf of Long Beach City College, on behalf of our trustees, the Long Beach Unified School District, Cal State University of Long Beach, I also want to thank you for coming to Long Beach City College today and helping us celebrate the second anniversary of the Long Beach College Promise. We look forward to seeing you again next year. And in the meantime, please continue to support public education and continue to work hard to help our students succeed. So thank you for coming, and enjoy the rest of your day.